Hi, and welcome back to Cannabis and the Chakras series. Today we're doing part 6, which is our third eye chakra. And I'm glad to be back recording these videos because I took about a week off because we had a ton of snow days and our schedule has been crazy. Both kids have been home, and I always record in the afternoon when my youngest is taking a nap. And when my oldest is home, he doesn't nap, so I have to be with him 24/7. Can't really sneak away to record a 20-minute video. So I'm back. I finally have some free time, and I'm excited to get this chakra on the road for us, okay? So our third eye is what is responsible for our reality, our perceptions of reality, our manifesting, and our thoughts and intuition. In the yogic philosophy, the third eye is connected to duality, which is a perception that kind of opposes reality and is created solely by the mind. So, like, our perceptions create our reality, basically. But it's different from actual reality. So once the chakra is in harmony with all other chakras, it's said that it is a doorway to spiritual enlightenment. So this is kind of an exciting video. I'm excited to share with you a different cannabis strain that you could use for third eye work, and a bunch of different tips for whether you have an excessive blockage in your third eye or a deficient blockage. So when our third eye is in balance, we see life with clarity and possess strong intuition and insight, and we're self-aware, and we also will be emotionally balanced. So when our third eye is blocked or imbalanced, we tend to struggle with a lot of things like closed-mindedness, cynicism, anxiety, depression, paranoia, and kind of various other mental illnesses and mood disorders can all stem from an imbalanced third eye chakra. So if you experience any of those things I just mentioned, you can look back in your childhood, in your past, and just kind of like think about things like, were you brought up in a very close-minded family? Because if you were, you most likely have those tendencies yourself. Or if you were conditioned to obey without asking questions, things like that. Was your early environment emotionally stable, or was there a lot going on in the house? Me personally, I grew up in an emotionally unstable household, so I struggle with a lot of that, and it creates a lot of blockages in a lot of my chakras. But third eye, I think, was really something that was blocked for me through childhood. I was taught not to kind of question authority. I was taught that correcting authority was wrong, even though I knew they were wrong and I was right. Apparently it was wrong of me to correct an adult or an authority figure. It was rude and disrespectful, things like that. There were certain beliefs brought up, kind of put me in a closed-minded little box, and as I'm growing up and out of that, I am realizing where the blockages are so I can work to clear them, and that's what I hope to help you do today as well. So yeah, like I said, if you were brought up in kind of like a stifling environment, kind of closed off and in a box, you most likely have an imbalance in your third eye chakra. So what is the third eye? So basically, it's located right here in the center of your forehead, and it's the energy center in our bodies responsible for intuition, our imagination, thought, and self-awareness. And it's associated with the color indigo, which is kind of like a deep blue or almost purple color. This kind of goes along with that. This is actually a third eye chakra incense, so I'm actually going to light that just to kind of set the mood as I share you with you guys. Not quite. Okay, so there are many signs of an imbalance in your third eye, which I will list for you. So if you rarely ever feel inspired or like kind of creative blocks, that could be a sign. If you ignore listening to your intuition, if you are over logical or over emotional, or if you're so absorbed in the details that you struggle to see the bigger picture, that could be a sign as well. If you often get lost in your own thoughts and you tend to like drift off in daydreams often to avoid reality, that's definitely a sign. Sorry, my screensaver just went on. If you are egotistically attached to your powers, so some people claim to be clairsentient or clairaudient, etc., but they become egotistically attached to that, and they use that kind of in an unhealthy way, use it to be better than other people, etc., stuff like that. So if you struggle with like that egotistical part, that's definitely a sign. If you're emotionally reactive or get upset easily, if you are addicted to external things that you believe will make you happy. So if you believe that this relationship will make you happy, or more money will make you happy, or a certain status will make you happy, or even being addicted to kind of things like food and sex and drugs and stuff like that, that's definitely a sign that there is something going on with your third eye. If you can't seem to connect to your deeper self, if you're very kind of surface level and never really explore deep within yourself, then that's a sign that you are not quite connected with your third eye. If you have very rigid opinions about the world, like I said, kind of being closed-minded and in a little box. So if you for example, judge a race based on stereotypes or even someone's sexual preference, stuff like that. If you have very like rigid and kind of unhealthy beliefs about those types of people, that's definitely a sign that there's something blocking your third eye chakra from seeing the bigger picture and accepting everyone as one, because we are all the same. Doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is, or where you grew up, or what color your skin is, stuff like that. If you're someone who's very stubborn, or if you're someone who has frequent headaches and migraines, that could be a sign that there's a blockage somewhere. If you have a heavy or dense ego, like I said before, being egotistical is a sign that you're not connecting to your deeper self, which is associated with your third eye. There's even things like vision problems or sinus issues that could arise from a blockage in the third eye. Or if you suffer from any delusions or mental illness, that's definitely a sign. And I encourage you to seek help if you are struggling with any sort of mental health issues. Always talk to somebody so that you can, share your feelings and kind of get things out. But I also encourage you to dive within yourself and figure out why you are having those feelings, and try and pick and choose some things maybe that I suggest, or do your own research, and just try and promote self-healing alongside seeking help outside of you. I just wanted to put that out there, bringing up mental illness, right? Okay, so you can have a deficient or an excessive blockage in your third eye. So if you have a deficient, you're going to lean more to the dreaminess, kind of daydreaming, stuff like that. You're going to feel ungrounded, and you're going to have a lot of mental confusion. So you're not going to have like clarity in that area. If you have an excessive issue in your third eye chakra, you're going to be narrow-minded, you're going to be cynical, and you're going to be more arrogant or egotistical. So that is more on the excessive side. So when you have a healthy third eye chakra, you're going to be calm and self-aware. You're going to be able to have kind of an intuition and foresight, and be able to almost predict things happening. And I find myself doing that sometimes, and it's kind of freaky when it first starts happening, but it's something you'll get used to once you're healed and can start experiencing those kinds of things. You're not going to be controlled or limited by your mind. You will easily distinguish truth from illusion, and illusion could be how we're perceiving something. So how we perceive something to be may not be actual reality. So being able to take a step back and see things as they are is something that's going to come along with a healthy third eye. You'll be more insightful and have better understanding of yourself and others and the world as a whole. Your intuition will flow effortlessly, and it'll help you make wise choices throughout your life, and help you make decisions that are grounded in reality and not in a fantasy or your perceptions. You're going to have the ability to be objective and not limited by your beliefs. So there's many, many things that you could do to start healing your third eye chakra, and I'm only mentioning a fraction of them just to keep this video, not an hour long. So I'm going to go through a couple things, starting with which strain of cannabis is best for third eye chakra use. And people are a little bit divided on this one. Some say that higher THC sativa dominant strain like sour diesel is ideal, And I agree with this one because it delivers an energizing and dreamy cerebral effect. And for like personally, I find that ideal for working in the higher chakras. Um, and sour diesel, a strain like sour diesel is really good for stress and depression. And like I mentioned before, those with third eye chakra imbalances tend to experience mental health issues. So a strain like that will help relieve some of those mental health issues, like give you relief from those issues and give you the opportunity to work through and begin healing from a different perspective, because cannabis shifts your perspective, right? And it also amplifies your intentions. So when you're choosing different things to do under the influence of a strain like that, it'll amplify those intentions you're setting to heal and clear your third eye. Others mention that a strain with less THC and more CBD, like Harlequin, which is also a sativa dominant strain, but it's a 5-to-1 CBD to THC ratio. So it's more of a clear-headedness and relaxation than a cerebral high, but it's ideal for pain and anxiety as well, so it'll help you shift your perception a little bit and find relief from those issues that I mentioned. But personally, like I said, I'd prefer a more cerebral high when working with the third eye chakra, but you could choose whichever one you're more comfortable with using and use that to work with your third eye chakra. So if you have an excessive chakra, you kind of want to explore different perspectives and try and overcome being closed-minded. I'm not telling you to completely change your mind about things that you don't agree with or anything like that, but just being able to kind of accept and observe other perspectives is a healthy way to kind of come out of your little box for a minute and kind of see the world through somebody else's eyes. So I think it's important to step out of your comfort zone in that way and just kind of be curious about different perspectives and be willing to learn a bit more before you just condemn them and judge them too harshly from your perspective. Number 2, if you have an excessive chakra, going on a psychedelic shamanic journey can be super powerful, and using any plant medicines like peyote or mushrooms or things like that, even DMT. I heard DMT is actually very good for accessing your pineal gland and your third eye chakra. So those things will help you open up your third eye and balance your entire energy system. And usually those kinds of trips will, during those trips, you'll experience some deep truths and like learn a lot about yourself and about the way the world works and just see things from a completely different perspective. And if you're not comfortable with trying more psychedelic things, what you could do is take a shamanic dose of a high THC sativa cannabis strain. So you would want to smoke. You would kind of want to play with the edge, because when I smoke, I get to a certain point where I'm like, hey, I'm not going to smoke anymore because I'm uncomfortable with the high after that line, that invisible line. So I want you to experience and kind of like push it past that line and just kind of see what happens and maybe meditate with it and just see what happens and see what you experience, because there are quite a few people out there who can contest to cannabis having psychedelic experiences as well when you push past that barrier. Another thing to do if you have an excessive blockage in your third eye is stargazing and moon gazing. There's something very powerful about just staring up at the night sky. It kind of puts things into perspective that, you know, like things, our perspectives and things don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. So it's kind of awe-inspiring and allows you to open your mind and kind of transcend your cage of thought, because you're just kind of lost in the amazingness of the universe. So I think that's super powerful. If you have a deficiency in your third eye, you want to ground yourself with mindfulness, because if you have a deficiency, like I said, you're kind of off drifting in la la land, you're daydreaming, you're not really grounded in reality. So our third eye functions best when we are grounded in reality, and all you have to do to accomplish this is practice being present in whatever arises in your life. So it doesn't matter if you get angry or happy or sad, it's important to be present and within yourself. And you can do that simply by just focusing on your breathing and taking a few conscious breaths. That just brings you to the present moment and grounds you in, you know, now. So that's what you're aiming for. So the following that I'm going to list are good for both deficient and excessive blockages. So you could just pick a couple and try them out. So number one for both is to decalcify your pineal gland, because the third eye chakra is associated with our pineal gland. And many ancient cultures, such as Egyptian, Tibetan, and Chinese, believe that the pineal gland is responsible for spiritual consciousness. And things like poor diet, exposure to toxins in our food and our medicines and in our air and our water, things like stress, fluoride also is a huge one, which I'm sure you heard before, is found in most tap water and in most commercial toothpaste. So you want to kind of limit those things. You could buy fluoride-free toothpaste, purified water, and just avoid those things as much as you possibly can. And a few things that you could do to begin actually detoxing and ridding your pineal gland of any toxins that are blocking it, or like calcifying it, I should say, because it hardens, are chlorella, spirulina, and wheatgrass. And I actually have some wheatgrass that I wanted to show you. I purchased this on Amazon. It was like $15 and it lasts a long time. I actually use this as kind of a mouth rinse because it's supposed to be really good for your teeth and gums and kind of detoxifies your mouth. So that's what I've been doing, is swishing that. But as I'm learning more about the third eye, you could actually put this into a shot of water and just drink that, and it'll help detoxify your body as well as your pineal glands. So I thought I'd show you that. So yeah, organic wheatgrass, you can buy it on Amazon. I bought this a couple months ago. It's lasted me forever, and I haven't even made a dent in it yet. So you could try that. Also, another good thing is apple cider vinegar has a great effect on the pineal gland. So if you drink apple cider vinegar, that's good. So yeah, using that. Also, another tip I learned was you can actually create a paste with turmeric. So you just add a little bit of turmeric and water together to create a paste, and you actually place it on your third eye chakra and allow it to kind of absorb any impurities in that area. Apparently, consuming turmeric doesn't have the same effect as placing it on your forehead where your third eye is. Number two for healing your third eye is sunlight, which is super, super important. And it's important for a lot of the different chakras. So spending time in the sun is just good for overall health in general. But the third eye represents the element of light, and you'll find a lot more clarity the more often you spend time in the sun. And if you live in a dark and cold climate like I do, like I'm up in Canada, so sometimes sunny days are few and far in between, especially in the winter time. It's actually beautiful outside today, so I'm actually going to try and go spend some time outside. So, excuse me, sorry. You could use light therapy. So you would just go sit under kind of like a special light and just absorb it. And light is, on a physical level, light kind of stimulates and awakens the pineal gland, so it improves the function of the third eye at the same time. The third thing you could do is hum or chant Om, which is the vibration that matches the third eye. So you could just literally say it out loud, go Om, then kind of drag it out, and just keep doing that over and over again, and just keep chanting, because that vibration actually will activate and awaken your third eye. So that's a very simple thing you can do. And also becoming an observer of your thoughts. Okay, the number one reason why people have issues with their third eye is because we actually believe the thoughts that are running through our minds, and we begin to identify with the thoughts running through our minds. So if we're constantly, our thoughts are constantly negative and like you're stupid, you're fat, nobody cares, stuff like that, going on in your head all the time, if you start to believe that stuff, it's very detrimental to your health, your mental health, and like chakra alignment, and creates blockages in all sorts of areas of your life. So you have to remember that thoughts are just temporary. They kind of come and go without a lot of effort. So you just want to be the observer. You don't want to identify with the thoughts you're having. You want to see them, acknowledge them, and just let them go, because they come and go all day, every day. And you want to not assign meaning to the thoughts that you're having, because you're in control of your own mind. And if you believe all the thoughts that run it through your head that are programmed either through childhood or the TV you watch or any of the content you consume, the people you hang around with. That takes a lot out of you. So you have to know yourself, know your thoughts, and know that you're just the observer. You're there watching the thoughts go in and out and not identifying with them, and only identify with the ones that you want to define yourself as. The fifth thing that you could do is obviously meditation, visualization, and there's different crystals you could use alongside both of those things. So different crystals you could use are sapphire, lapis lazuli, kyanite, labradorite, and or amethyst. And the only one I have is amethyst. I'm actually on the hunt for some labradorite. I haven't found the right one yet that like identifies with me, the one that I'm very attracted to. So I'm just waiting, to stumble on the right one. So if you know of anyone selling some labradorite, please let them know so they can find me, because I am shopping. So you want to kind of I have a little amethyst geode, so you could use this during meditation or visualization. If you're laying down, you can actually kind of sit it on your forehead. I like how this one's kind of in the shape of a triangle. So you can put it on your forehead, or you can hold them in your hands as you're meditating. And as you're meditating, obviously become conscious of your breath, and you can actually close your eyes and turn your eyes up towards the third eye, and you can visualize that indigo color, which is like I said, kind of a blue purple. Imagine that color swirling around and expanding every time you breathe in, and every time you exhale, just imagine any negative energy or blockages leaving your third eye chakra, and that can have a very powerful effect on healing. So this video is a little bit longer than the rest of the series, but that's okay. It's one of the most exciting chakras to me. I really like learning about the third eye and different things you could do to help heal it. And so these are just a few things. You could pick a couple that resonate with you and kind of pick the cannabis strain you want to be using while you're working with it, and kind of incorporate a bunch of different things into your self-care routine that you could use to start healing your third eye chakra. And of course, healing takes time and effort, and you're not going to miraculously heal it overnight, but the more you incorporate certain things into your routine, the better clarity you'll have, the better intuition you'll have, and you'll just be on the right track. All right, so I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope that you subscribe so you don't miss any of the other videos to come. Have a good one. Until the next one. Bye.